Building a house is one of the most exciting and significant projects you can undertake. It's also one of the most detailed, with a whole lot of steps that need to happen in the right order. We're talking about building a structure that's going to stand the test of time, keep your family safe and comfortable for years to come, and that's no small feat. Whether you're planning on building your dream home from scratch, or you're just curious about what goes on behind those construction fences, this video series is for you. We're going to walk you through the entire process, step by step, from picking the perfect plot of land to that final walkthrough. We're going to break it all down in a way that anyone can understand, even if you don't know a hammer from a handsaw. So buckle up and let's get started. So you've got the home building bug, eh? The first thing we got to do, even before we start drawing up plans, is find the perfect spot to put your new place. This is what we call site selection, and it's more than just finding a pretty view. We got to think about things like zoning regulations, access to utilities, and the lay of the land itself. You don't want to build your dream home on a swamp. Trust me on that one. Once you've found a few potential building sites, it's time to call in the pros. A surveyor will come in and make sure your property lines are where they're supposed to be, and a geotechnical engineer will do some soil testing. This is crucial because the type of soil you have will determine the type of foundation you'll need. And the last thing we want is a house that's sinking into the ground. Now, depending on the site, you might have some trees to clear, some rocks to move, or some grading to do. Grading is basically just leveling out the land so you've got a nice flat surface to build on. You don't want your house sitting on an angle, do you? Didn't think so. This is where those big yellow machines come in handy. Remember, a solid foundation starts with a solid piece of ground. Take your time with this step, get it right, and you'll be setting yourself up for success down the road. Now that you've got your piece of land prepped and ready to go, it's time to start thinking about the house itself. This is where things get really exciting. You'll want to find yourself a good residential building designer or architect who can take your vision and turn it into a set of blueprints. Now, when I say good residential building designer or architect, I mean someone who's not only creative, but also understands the practicalities of building a house. They need to know about building codes, energy efficiency, and all that good stuff. Once your plans are complete, it is time to look for a good general contractor who can work with your design team even after they start building the house. This is the person who's going to be responsible for actually building your house, so you want to make sure you find someone you trust. Also make sure they understand how to read the drawings you spent so much time and effort creating. Get references, check out their past work, and don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions. Now, before you can start digging, you're going to need to get some permits from the city or county. Your contractor will have the completed set of drawings and the knowledge and experience to do this. The permits are just to make sure your house is up to code and that everything's being built safely. It might seem like a pain, but trust me, it's better to do things by the book. Remember, this is your dream home we're talking about. Don't rush the design process. Take your time, work closely with your residential building designer or architect and contractor, and make sure you're getting exactly what you want. All right, folks, it's time to start digging. The foundation is literally the base of your entire house, so we got to make sure it's rock solid. The first step is excavation, which basically means digging a big hole in the ground where your foundation is going to go. The depth and shape of the hole will depend on your house plans and the type of soil you have. Next up, we've got the footings. These are like giant concrete pads that distribute the weight of your house evenly across the soil. They're usually reinforced with steel rebar to make them extra strong. Once the footings are in place, we can start building the foundation walls. Now, there are a few different ways to build foundation walls, but the most common method is poured concrete. This involves building wooden forms, pouring concrete into the forms, and then letting it cure. Once the concrete is cured, we remove the forms, and voila, you've got yourself some foundation walls. But wait, there's more. We also need to waterproof the foundation. This is super important because we don't want any water seeping into your basement. We'll apply a waterproof membrane to the outside of the walls and install a drainage system to carry any water away from the house. Remember, moisture is the enemy when it comes to foundations, so don't cut corners on this step. Chapter 4. With a solid foundation in place, it's time to see some real progress. Framing is where your house really starts to take shape. First, we'll frame the floor system using a network of joists and beams, all perfectly leveled and secured to that strong foundation we built. This is like the skeleton of your first floor. Then comes the walls. We're talking studs, headers, and all those framing elements that create the rooms and hallways you see on your blueprints. It's like a giant puzzle, but instead of cardboard, we're using lumber, and precision is key. Each piece is cut to size and nailed together with the strength and accuracy only experience can bring. Now, a house isn't a home without a roof, right? That's where the roof trusses come in. These pre-engineered triangles of wood are designed to support the weight of your roof and transfer it down through the walls and into the foundation. We'll carefully lift them into place, secure them, and then sheathe the entire roof with plywood or OSB, creating a solid base for your shingles. Framing might look straightforward, but it's a skilled trade that requires careful attention to detail. A well-framed house is a strong house, so make sure you've got experienced carpenters on the job. Chapter 5. All right, folks, time to put a lid on this thing. The roof is your home's first line of defense against the elements, so we got to make sure it's done right. We start by laying down a layer of roofing felt or synthetic underlayment over the sheathing. This acts as a secondary barrier against moisture, just in case any water gets past your shingles. Next comes the flashing. This is a thin, waterproof material that we install around any penetrations in the roof, like chimneys, vents and skylights. It prevents water from seeping in through those vulnerable areas. Now for the main event, the shingles. These come in a variety of materials, colors and styles to match your home's design. We'll carefully install them, starting at the bottom and working our way up, overlapping each row to create a watertight seal. Proper nailing is crucial here, folks. You don't want your shingles flying off in the next windstorm. A good roof should last you decades, so don't skimp on materials or installation. Make sure you're using high-quality shingles and hire experienced roofers who know how to handle the job right. Chapter 6. With the roof on, we can finally start closing things up. Installing windows and doors might seem like a small step, but trust me, it makes a world of difference. Suddenly, you've got a structure that's starting to look and feel like a real home. We'll start by carefully fitting each window and door into its designated opening, making sure it's level, plumb, and square. We're not just slapping them in there, folks. Proper installation is crucial for energy efficiency and preventing drafts. Once the windows and doors are in place, we'll seal them up tight with weather stripping and insulation. This helps to keep your home warm in the winter and cool in the summer, saving you money on your energy bills. Finally, we'll install the exterior trim around the windows and doors, giving them a finished, polished look. This is like the icing on the cake, folks. It's all about the details. Things might seem quiet behind the walls, but there's a whole lot going on. This stage is all about the guts of your house, the electrical, plumbing and HVAC systems. These are the unsung heroes that make your home livable, so we've got to make sure they're installed right. First up, the electricians will run wires through the walls and ceilings, installing junction boxes, outlets and light switches according to the electrical plan. We're talking about everything from powering your appliances to lighting up your living spaces. Next, the plumbers will install the water supply and drainage pipes, connecting them to the fixtures in your kitchen, bathrooms and laundry room. They'll also rough in the water heater and any other plumbing appliances. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Finally, the HVAC technicians will install the ductwork for your heating and cooling system, connecting it to the furnace or air handler and running vents to each room. Proper insulation of the ducts is crucial for energy efficiency, so we'll make sure that's done right. This stage might not be glamorous, but it's essential for a functional home. Make sure you hire licensed professionals who know what they're doing. Now that the rough-ins are complete, it's time to insulate. Proper insulation is crucial for keeping your home comfortable year-round and saving you money on your energy bills. Think of it as wrapping your house in a big cozy blanket. We'll start by insulating the walls using either fiberglass bats or spray foam insulation. This helps to prevent heat loss in the winter and heat gain in the summer. We'll make sure to fill all the gaps and cracks, creating a tight thermal envelope. Next, we'll insulate the attic using blown-in or rolled-out insulation. The attic is a major source of heat loss, so proper insulation here is key. And don't forget about the floors. If you have a crawl space or basement, we'll insulate the floors above to keep your feet warm and prevent drafts. Insulation might not be the most exciting part of the building process, but it's one of the most important. Make sure you choose the right type of insulation for your climate and have it installed correctly. Your wallet and the environment will thank you. Remember those bare studs and exposed wiring? It's time to cover them up and create those smooth, finished walls we all know and love. This is where the drywall crew comes in. They'll measure, cut and hang large sheets of drywall, attaching them to the studs with screws. Once the drywall is up, it's time for the messy part, taping and mudding. This involves applying drywall compound to the seams and screw holes, then covering it with tape and smoothing it out. It takes a skilled hand and a keen eye to create those seamless, invisible joints. After the mud dries, we'll sand it down until it's smooth as silk, removing any imperfections or rough edges. This creates a perfectly smooth surface for paint or wallpaper. It's amazing how much of a difference this step makes. Drywall might seem like a simple task, but it's a skilled trade that requires precision and attention to detail. A good drywall job will make your walls look flawless, ready for the finishing touches. Alright folks, here's where things get really fun. With the drywall finished, it's time to start putting your personal stamp on your new home with interior finishes. This is where your vision really comes to life. First up, we'll install the interior doors, hanging them with care, ensuring they swing smoothly and latch securely. Then, we'll add trim around the doors and windows, giving them a polished, finished look. This is like adding jewelry to a beautiful outfit. Next, it's time to paint. This is an easy and affordable way to transform the look and feel of your space. Choose colors that reflect your personality and style. Don't be afraid to get creative. Now for the flooring, whether you prefer hardwood, tile, carpet, or something else entirely, the right flooring can really tie a room together. We'll install it with care, ensuring a smooth, level surface. Finally, we'll install the cabinets, countertops, fixtures, and appliances. This is where your kitchen and bathrooms really start to take shape. Choose fixtures and finishes that complement your style and meet your needs. With the interior complete, it's time to turn our attention to the outside of your home. Curb appeal is important, folks. We want your house to look as good on the outside as it does on the inside. First up, we'll install the siding. This is the protective layer that covers the exterior walls, giving your home its character and style. There are tons of different siding options available, from wood to vinyl to fiber cement. Choose one that fits your budget and aesthetic. Next, we'll build any porches or decks you've got planned. These are great for extending your living space outdoors and enjoying those warm summer evenings. We'll make sure they're built to code and structurally sound. Finally, we'll install the gutters and downspouts. These are essential for directing rainwater away from your home's foundation, preventing water damage. We'll make sure they're properly sloped and securely attached. We're in the home stretch now, folks. The house is built, the finishes are in, and it's time for those final touches that will really make it feel like home. First up, lighting. We'll install all the light fixtures, from the chandeliers in the dining room to the sconces in the hallway. Good lighting can make a world of difference, setting the mood and highlighting your home's best features. Now let's step outside and tackle the landscaping. This is where we'll add plants, trees, and other landscaping elements to enhance your home's curb appeal and create a welcoming atmosphere. We'll work with the existing terrain and choose plants that thrive in your climate. Finally, we'll conduct a final walkthrough with you, going over every detail and making sure you're completely satisfied with the finished product. We'll address any last-minute touch-ups or adjustments. Congratulations, folks. You're now the proud owner of a brand new home. Enjoy it. Building a house is a significant commitment, typically taking 6 to 12 months, sometimes longer, depending on the size, design, and yes, even the weather. But let me tell you, seeing that vision become a reality, walking through those rooms, it's an incredible feeling. Stay in close communication with your contractor throughout the process. They're your partners in this, and a good contractor will keep you informed every step of the way. Keep an eye on material delivery timelines too. Sometimes things get back-ordered, and it's better to be in the loop than scrambling at the last minute. Building a house comes with its challenges. But with careful planning, a good team, and a healthy dose of patience, you can navigate the process and soon be enjoying your new home. Remember, if you run into any problems, don't hesitate to call in an expert. Sometimes a little help is all you need to get things back on track.